All right, welcome back live. It's the Subway Nightly Sports Call right here on Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompiani with you tonight until 11 o'clock. Join us then on the news at 11, followed by the #1 Concord Sports Showdown. Got a lot of email on the topic of the Pitt Panther loss. I want to go to this one coming at us from Kevin Ross, who says, stupid foul. Yes, there is, however, a difference between the two fouls at the end of the game. On Gilbert Brown's foul, there is the possibility that he can make the shot. On Nazir Robinson's foul, there is no chance. So the officials should swallow the whistle. Would you rather see an exciting overtime or end the game in that manner? The officials are looking to make a call at that point. It's like calling interference on a Hail Mary. I understand your complaint, Kevin, but you're wrong. I think it's a foul, and I'm glad to see, especially in light of what we saw at the Big East tournament and at Rutgers and St. John's, the way that ended. The officials failed to officiate until the end of the game, and I think a warning went out to all officials that you must continue to do your job regardless of the time of the game. It was a foul. Instead of blaming the official there, how about blaming the Pitt Panthers, specifically Nazir Robinson, who's a very intelligent basketball player, one who made a stupid play at that time of the game. Both of those fouls were stupid, the one by Butler and certainly the one there by Nazir Robinson. Furthermore, if you're Jamie Dixon, my question is, why do you have those guys even at the line? There's no chance. It's a very minuscule chance that if they do get a rebound and they heave it 94 feet the other way, it goes in. There is no reason at all to be in that situation. So I had a problem with that for sure. I also had a problem with the shot clock violation at the end, under 10 seconds, that you just cannot make that. I understand when you have a lead, you're trying to milk some time, you're trying to work it as much as you can, but you cannot box yourself into that corner. So there were a lot of things not to like. Another thing I didn't like, and this has become a trend this season, is that Pitt got off to a slow start in the game. You saw what Ohio State did to a #8 seed today. George Mason was 8. Ohio State won. They came out and took it to him early. I know other teams have had some issues, but as a #1 seed, you are supposed to get beyond this weekend. And when you don't, you become, we were talking today, like the Atlanta Braves. You set the bar high, all right? You win the conference championship year in and year out. You're one of the best players in the regular season, but your fan base gets impatient. Your fan base wants more. And the Atlanta Braves won it. They won 14 straight division championships, and that's an amazing record, but they only won 1 World Series championship, and people in Atlanta were turned off. Okay, we're here again. Let's see what you do in the postseason. And I think Pitt is at that crossroads as well. People expect more, and they're just not getting it. 412-575-2600 is that number to call, so let us know what you think. I got a lot more email here that I'll be reading to you. A lot of the Penguin ones, and this is concerning Matt Cook. It comes from Pitt Penguin 44. Bob, or make that Skip in Pittsburgh. He says Bob Cook should be out for the rest of the season to prove a point. I would like to know why Matt Niskanen gets a penalty for what looked like an incidental contact. Well, Skip, incidental or not, you're responsible for your stick, and Niskanen would be the first to tell you that. He didn't intend that at all. It was accidental, but you still cut a guy, and therefore you got to keep your stick below and not make that play. Unfortunately, it was a double minor, and it just so happened to follow the major, so there was a 2-man disadvantage, and the Rangers took advantage of that fully. It changed the complexion of the game. I thought a game the Penguins were going to win because they were, to me, out-working, out-playing, out-hitting the Rangers, and they've been doing that for the last several weeks. They're very good at playing 5-on-5 hockey with the team that they have right now, but you cannot allow special teams to become that big of a game, and certainly they got a short-handed goal by Chris Kunitz, but when you allow 5-on-3 to some of the players they got on that roster, you're asking for trouble. All right, let's go out to Jerry in Lawrenceville. What's up, Jerry?
Bob, really enjoyed the show. Best sports show on television.
Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate it.
Bob, I got a question for you.
Right.
What's more frustrating, the Pitt basketball program or the Pitt football program?
Clearly the football program. All right, I hear you back there. I would say football program, only because I had big expectations for the last several years, and they were close to pulling that thing off. I think with the basketball program, the frustration comes in this tournament right here. I still think they have come a long way. They play regular season basketball as good as anyone. The numbers are there, but the numbers are not there in the postseason. Not so much the Big East tournament, where they've been one and done the last couple of years, but overall they've won a few of those. It's the NCAA tournament, and for a team that has put together so much regular season success, and when you get #1 seeds, you are expected to go further. I just didn't like the way they came out and played that game yesterday, and I didn't like the fact that they fell behind. And it takes a lot of energy to come back when you build a 12-point deficit, and that's exactly what they have to face. And that's not the way you want to do, especially a team like Butler, which has some experience in these situations. Bill in Mount Washington. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, good evening, Bob.
Hi, Bill.
I called you before the game, Bob. I told you Old Dominion or Butler, they're going to have a big headache on their hands. It ain't the coaching, Bob. This guy's a great coach. The thing is, They have no inside game whatsoever, Bob. And Ashton Gibbs is a great shooter, but cannot create his own shot. He needs 7 picks to get open. Every other team got a guard that can create his own shot, Bob.
Yeah, but I think, one of the topics we get into tonight on the number one Cochran Sports Show, I think Jamie Dixon is a wonderful coach. There's no doubt about that. But I also think, he's been unable to get the kind of players that we see routinely with Kentucky and North Carolina and Duke, and those one and doneers. Not necessarily guys that you want here for one, but the supremely talented guys who can make a difference. And look what happened this weekend in their bracket alone. We saw Kemba Walker. Well, that was out in a different bracket. Kemba Walker with 33. Jimmer Fredette in their bracket. Poulin had a big day for Kansas State, even though they lost that game. But bottom line is they need people. Their program is built on rebounding and defense, and that's great. It gets you through a regular season. But in the postseason, you got to do more than that. You got to come up with guys who can carry you from time to time when you need it, and they just don't have it. Now, I'm wondering if it's because of the style of basketball they play. Is it not inviting to other people to come in here, or is it a reluctance to use younger players? J.J. Moore, I don't know if he's ready or not. I'm going to defer that to Jamie Dixon. He knows better than anyone. But I would like to see some younger players, especially at the beginning of seasons, play. Get more experience so that you can rely on them maybe in the postseason when no one else is. And then throw them in there and all of a sudden you get a little jolt. Let's go out to Chris in Uniontown. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Good, Bob.
Good. What's up, Chris?
Bob, Jamie Dixon can't pull the star players there. And these last 2 years, they had the best team. They should have won. Now, St. John's is going to snatch up all them players that he was getting from New Jersey and New York, and Rutgers going to grab them all. He ain't going to have no good players coming to Pitt with the next 2 years.
Well, they have a really good player coming in. He is supposed to be one of those guys who could be potentially a one and done or two and done kind of guy, and he's very highly rated. They also have another guy, Adams, coming in. I don't know if it's next year or the year after, but they have some talented players. I was disappointed, as I said earlier, in Dante Taylor's lack of development. I expected more out of him in his second season. I also expected more offensively from Gary McGee in his 5th season. Gilbert Brown played well yesterday. He got to make both foul shots, although that second one was down and in, and it came back out. But again, the foul just made it impossible to do anything but watch helplessly as Matt Howard made the game-winning free throw. All right, Nick in Cranberry has a email that says, Matt Cook should be done for the year. Mario and Shiro need to put up or shut up. I'm a Penn season ticket holder, and the fans there are saying the same thing. Cook needs to be gone. Well, it's not that easy, Nick. I don't know what they're going to do. I do think, as I said, he's a good hockey player when he keeps his nose out of that kind of stuff. But when you look at, as I said, if he gets a suspension, we fully expect it. It will be a long one. He's a repeat offender. This will be his 5th suspension. And everybody remembers Mark Savard, but there's been other ones. Scott Walker comes to mind. Artin and Nisima from the Rangers, they got him. And I'm trying to think this year, tempted to say Fettertuden, I'm not sure, but it was somebody else. And when you start doing this, especially the way this league is cracking down, and of all weeks, this week on national TV, it's kind of a slap in the face at your own ownership. They're making statements here. They want results, and yet you become the first real violator since this NHL general manager meeting. Not a good sign. Let's go to Mike in Carnegie. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Bob. Yeah, like I tell you every time, it's the best sports show in the country.
We appreciate that. Thank you, Mike.
As for the Matt Cook hit, you know what? With Lemieux putting out there, he did about the headshots, I wouldn't be surprised if he does take him up for the whole year, on top of whatever the NHL does. Now, I'm just wondering if he's going to put him up for trade, because he's prone to do this normally.
You mean put him in the off-season, trade him?
And that's what I'm thinking.
Well, they might. I mean, they may have to sever ties with him eventually, but I don't know that you can do much right now. If he is suspended, you would expect it'll take him through the rest of the regular season into the postseason, and then he's back. And he's a vital part of this team, as I said. The line when he's on with Tyler Kennedy and George Stahl is a very productive line and do their job well. He's been terrific in terms of his offensive abilities with 12 goals and 18 assists when he plays the way he's capable of playing and stays out of this stuff, but he can't seem to do it, and that's a problem. You can't have your guys, especially with this team is leading the charge and trying to control headshots. He's the guy delivering them. Tom and Shayla, what's up, Tom? How you doing?
Not too bad.
Go ahead. You're on the air, Tom.
Bob.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Is the Pitt basketball program in trouble because of their lack of getting to the upper level?
No, I mean, you say in trouble. As I said, they have a couple of good recruits coming in.
Oh, God.
Jamie Dixon's done a wonderful job of year in and year out. I thought his best coaching job was last year when he lost some guys from the previous year. Nobody thought they'd do anything, and they had 25 wins, although they got eliminated from the tournament again by Jordan Crawford and Xavier. But this is in good, certainly in good stead. I would ask you to look back at some of the best coaches in the game and see how long it took them to get deep, perhaps, into the... I know people are frustrated. I know emotions are running high right now, but I think you need to realize this team has accomplished, and this program is on very firm footing. They need to get deeper, yes. They need to win games in this tournament, yes, because the numbers do not suggest they've done a good job at that. But I think in time it will happen, so I have no concern for that. I'd love to see more talented athletes, those guys that you see slash the hole, can create offense on their own. I'd like to see more of those guys here, but that's something down the road that needs to take place. We're going to take a break, come back with more Subway Nightly Sports Call rolls on right after this. Call us at 575-2600.